I make it rather quick. Question for Diana. You said you write software for a person to plug numbers from Excel. So, and also you said your business, you think it's very defendable. So why do you think your business is very defendable?
So we're focusing on something that even inside the banks, very few people know how to do, right? And so my job in particular inside the bank was, it gave me very much a view that management used to have. And so usually not everyone sees what management gets to see. And so what I found out, so when I left my company, I didn't think, I thought, this is such a great idea. There will be like hundreds of people doing this. And it's only while I left and when I started the company that I realized that actually it was very rare expertise. And so yeah, it is very defensible because it's built on expertise that very few people in the industry actually have.
I think banking is a great place for that because you definitely have some expertise there and it's still done very much manually, so great playground.
I'm rather surprised that you haven't actually highlighted the fact that all those detailed innovations are part of the fundamental design of your organization, and that's what makes you unique in many ways. And having the clear vision and making sure that all these bits actually integrate seamlessly in a way that makes sense to your customers is what it's all about in many ways. And that is what differentiates you, and that's what separates you from other people. Now, what is interesting is that there's a phrase that came out in benchmarking in the 90s, which I think came out of General Electric, which is borrow with pride. And people used to borrow with pride, but knowing that is a temporary thing. And I think to become a leader, you have to turn what you borrow, make it your own in a unique manner. And I think in a sense, simplifying the thing into a business model and a product service model, I think, is simplifying it too much. And you're taking away the really rich complexity that's involved with being an entrepreneur and being successful and leading. And I think it's slightly apologetic, I would like you to actually highlight that complexity, that rich complexity, and raise the capability of people to integrate, to innovate and integrate all those innovations in a way which is quite special. Does that make sense to you?
I'm not sure that was a question, but it's a great comment. It's a great comment.
Yeah.
You're totally right.
Yeah. Well, I can add something to that, which is I sell all of the products. They're very different. I sell them all on the same website. And I have had all kind of criticism for that. They're different products, they're different markets. You have a toy next to a jewelry piece. The toy costs like 15 pounds, the jewelry costs like 80, and they're like, that's never gonna work. And then it took me a long time to realize actually I was speaking to the same kind of person. They're different products, different price points, all of these, but it was the same kind of profile person that loves innovation, but loves crafts, loves gifting, loves sustainability, all of these, the product locally made, the product that ticks all the boxes, all in the same place, and over time, hopefully, more products to come. So that was a hard one. For a while, I actually separated them, and I had individual websites for each one, individual branding, and all of that. And it consumed so much resources and energy and marketing, and it didn't make sense. So it's back all together, and it's much better. Yeah.
Your comment really, I think, kind of hits the nail on the head. I think one of the values that an entrepreneur will bring to an organization is that ability to identify what are some of the better ideas in the market. I'd look at some of our weaker competitors in my market, and I know that if I kind of delved into their businesses more deeply, I would find things that actually would be appealing to me and that I would want to bring into my business, and as you kind of described it, make my own, sort of, to borrow with pride from those other businesses. But I think actually you also need to consider that the better run businesses are going back to the statement that I said when I made, my kind of brief pitch, are looking at doing things their way. They're not constantly, they're not walking backwards, looking at their competitors all the time. They're looking over their shoulders from time to time, wondering, if there are things that they can actually pick up and use productively in their businesses, rather than obsessing about what everyone else is doing.
Just one thing that may have been implicit in what you were saying, I'm not sure, is that businesses with a business model, and you said there's lots of nuances and subtleties, the other aspect of that is time, is that business models evolve. And any good, successful business has a constantly evolving business model. And evolution in the truest sense, because if you let it evolve well, then it becomes more and more effective. And I think that is the most important thing. I mean, there were so many brilliant businesses that started off and they don't look anything like their business plan at all. But the ones that change and evolve well still end up with a brilliantly successful business. So evolution on a micro, not just chopping and changing, but just let evolution on a micro level chop and change little bits and pieces, gets you to a much stronger position and a more defendable position.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that from your comment and something that I was saying when I spoke earlier, there is a reality that people are very complex at the end of the day, and so your business is very much a reflection of how, of your philosophy of life in many ways. So I think that when you look at entrepreneurship, you can obviously simplify it to startups and a new company and all of that kind of stuff, but it's also being an entrepreneur inside a company. It's also being an entrepreneur while you're still studying. It's a way of living in many ways, right? And so whether you decide to take that philosophy as, starting a new business, or as just, doing certain things in a different way wherever you are, all the complexities that, that involves comes directly from the fact that human beings are actually quite complex, and they're capable of building a lot of fantastic microsystems that can solve a lot of problems themselves. So yeah.
About the innovation, when you make a design, you say you go for awards. How do you pick those awards events? And secondly, how do you ensure that people will not, copy? I mean, this toy that you showed us, why don't they next day do it in China? I don't understand why they do.
So there is trade secrets most of the time for materials, and this I have from the time back in MIT still, some connections directly with researchers and companies that are not so easy to get to. So I do have my trade secrets, and but nothing is patented, I can tell you that, and I don't. Well, depending, I have some ideas that might be patentable, but it's not something I was so keen on. I believe in the PR is the new IP. So I try to be there first and to make sure everybody knows. And winning an award is the best way of having the stamp of uniqueness, or being, otherwise you don't get an award if you show something that has been done before. So it kind of proves that you were there first. But to be honest, I am actually not so worried about that. We're moving quite fast. I think people will want the original. In the design arena, most people will want the original. Especially we're talking about a UK brand, British-made brand. All of those are quality stamps that a made in China cannot compete with here. But to be honest, I'm already moving into the next collection of toys. We're doing a collaboration with Disney, for example. So if copies come, I just think we're always going to be ahead, or at least that's part of the business plan, and that's why I continue doing experiments all the time. So it's not something I'm worried about. Some people say being copied is flattering, or it just means maybe that I'm doing the right thing if other people.
But how do you keep it secret? Because people, I mean, the technology, the material.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I have wondered with the toy, for example. I have wondered how come I don't have a competitor yet. But yeah, I'm not wasting my time there, basically. Yeah, it just hasn't happened.